So we'll go ahead and start to write out the code in just a moment. Now we've outlined our functions and we know what we're doing inside this file here. We want to go ahead and actually send the requests to the file. So first of all, when a user enters, we want to put the username or send the username over to users.php. So we use a .post HTTP request, or a post HTTP request, sorry, and this will take two parameters. We're not going to have a callback function because we're not required to actually call back any data. So we need two parameters. You notice I've used curly brackets here. This is for the variables that we're sending, and this here is the file we're sending to. So users.php is inside, let's just take a look, is inside a directory called php. This is my directory. We've got index.php here, and we have php folder here, and users is inside there. So we're sending this to php/users.php. And the variables we're sending two different variables. The first one is the user name, which is equal to user_name. Remember, if you've looked at post request before, this is the variable name we pick up in PHP, and this is the value we're giving it, i.e. this here. The second variable is the action, and in this case the action is join, or joined, we'll say. Okay, so now that we've done that, what this is going to do is it's going to send the username to users.php with the action joined, and we want this to be placed into the database. So quite simple, let's just go ahead to users.php and we'll start to write this out. So the first thing we want to do is say if is set $_post user_name, and we also want to check for $_post action. So in ext.js we've sent username, called username, and action that has the value joined. So that's username and action. So if these are both set, i.e. have they both been passed to this page, we want to go ahead and register the user. The first thing I'm going to go ahead and do though is just set this into a variable, or set these two into variables. So the first one is user_name, and that's equal to $_post user_name, and the second is action, which is $_post action. So let's just go ahead and tab these over, not there, tab that over there. Okay, now you'll notice that I'm not sanitizing username. I'm not performing any HTML entities function on it, or the MySQL real escape string function on it, because our functions are going to handle that for us. And the reason for that is we would always use MySQL real escape string or any other sanitization inside of a function before we place it in the database. And this just means that if we reuse the function, we don't need to sanitize the data, i.e. username, before we send it to the function. So that's just a little tip there as well. Okay, so after we've retrieved the username and the action, we want to check the action. Obviously, we're passing three different potential actions to this users.php file. We're either passing joined here, list here, or left here. So we want to pick up on this action variable. So I'm going to say if action is equal to joined, in this case this is the only one we have yet, we want to go ahead and we want to call the user joined function, and we want to pass the user name to it. So we've outlined user joined up here, and now we've called the function once the action is equal to joined. Now just a quick note, the reason I'm using functions is simply because it keeps it tidy at the top of the page, and then we can just call the function down here. Instead of all the code that is going to go in here being down here, it can be kept up the top. So once the user has joined, we call, or the action joined has been sent, we call the user joined function. So let's go ahead and fill in what we need to write in user joined. So the first thing to do, like I said, is to sanitize the data. So I'm going to reset some data into this username variable, and this is going to be just user_name. So this is a new variable, or we're rewriting the existing variable with this value going into here, and we want to go ahead and perform some sanitization. So MySQL real escape string, that will somewhat protect against SQL injection, and HTML entities will mean that we convert HTML entities to, we convert HTML scripting or tags or anything to entities, just so it's not displayed as HTML and it's displayed as formatted text, as just normal text. So now we want to go ahead and place this name inside of the database. So let's go ahead and use MySQL query function. Inside here we want to insert into, let's go ahead and look at our table so we can reference our field names. So insert into users, so users, and that's values, and the value, there's only one, which is user name. So now this will actually be working. Let's just go over what we've done already. So when the user enters, they enter their name. This is sent in the form of the variable username to users.php here with the action joined. Inside users.php we pick up on the fact that the action equals joined, which we've checked for and we've reassigned into a variable called action. If the action does equal joined, we call the user joined function. And what this does is it sanitizes the data and then places this name into the database table. So let's go ahead and browse our database table. You'll see that there's no records there. MySQL returned an empty result set. When I refresh the page, I have the option to enter my name. So now the process starts. So I'm going to go ahead and type in Alex and press enter. Obviously we don't have any data relayed to the screen because we haven't started actually retrieving the list of data yet, or the list of names. But when we browse our database table, you can see that my username has been placed inside.